The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across Meadowbrook Lane as I stood in my driveway, hands on my hips, staring at the neon orange violation notice taped to my garage door. It was the third one this month, and my patience had worn thinner than the paper was printed on. Violation of Community Standard Section 4.2. Unauthorized vehicle parked in driveway between hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. I read aloud, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Fine, $150. The unauthorized vehicle in question was my work van, a perfectly maintained white Ford Transit with my company logo tastefully displayed on the side. I ran a successful electrical contracting business, and that van was as much a part of my livelihood as the tools inside it. I crumpled the notice and was heading back inside when I spotted them. 3 figures marching down the sidewalk with a purposeful stride of people who believed they wielded absolute authority. The HOA board had arrived. Leading the pack was Patricia Moreland, the HOA president, a woman in her early 60s whose pinch expression suggested she'd been sucking on lemons since birth. Flanking her were Gerald, the vice president, whose comb-over defied both physics and good taste, and Denise, the treasurer, clutching her ever-present tablet like a shield. Mr. Harrison. Patricia's voice could have cut glass. We need to discuss your flagrant disregard for community standards. I took a deep breath, reminding myself to stay calm. Patricia, we've been over this. I'm not part of your HOA. Her eyes narrowed. Every property on Meadowbrook Lane is governed by the Meadowbrook Estates Homeowners Association. It's in the deed restrictions. Not mine, I said evenly. I had my lawyer checked thoroughly before I bought the property 6 months ago. My house predates your HOA by 15 years. I'm grandfathered out. Gerald stepped forward, his face reddening. That's absurd. Everyone answers to the HOA. That's how civilized communities function. Civilized communities also function on facts and legal documents. I countered. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm simply not under your jurisdiction. Denise began tapping frantically on her tablet. Our records show. Your records are wrong. I interrupted, perhaps more forcefully than necessary. Look, I respect that you all volunteer your time for the neighborhood, but I paid good money to ensure my property was free and clear of HOA entanglements. I work long hours, sometimes overnight shifts. I need my van accessible, and I'm not paying fines for parking in my own driveway. Patricia's face had gone from pink to crimson. This is unacceptable. You can't just decide you're exempt from community rules. We have standards to maintain, property values to protect. Then protect them on properties actually under your control. I said, turning toward my front door. Have a good evening. We're calling the police. Patricia shrieked behind me. You're harassing us. You're creating a hostile environment. I stopped mid-step and slowly turned around. I'm sorry, what? You heard her, Gerald said, puffing out his chest. We'll have you removed for harassment and trespassing on HOA-governed streets. I couldn't help it. I laughed. It wasn't a polite chuckle either, but a genuine, belly-deep laugh that made all 3 of them bristle with indignation. You're calling the cops because I won't pay your made-up fines? Please be my guest. Patricia already had her phone out, fingers stabbing at the screen with righteous fury. I went inside, shaking my head, and watched through my front window as the trio waited on the sidewalk, Patricia speaking animatedly into her phone. 20 minutes later, a patrol car pulled up and Officer Jake Mendez stepped out. I knew Jake. He'd done some electrical work for his family, and we'd gotten along well. I opened my door and walked out before Patricia could monopolize the conversation. Jake. I greeted him with a nod. Marcus, he replied, his expression carefully neutral. Got a call about a disturbance? Patricia rushed forward. Officer, This man is refusing to comply with HOA regulations and has become verbally aggressive toward board members attempting to enforce community standards. Jake pulled out his notepad, more out of procedure than necessity, I suspected. Okay, let's start from the beginning. What's the specific complaint? For the next 10 minutes, Patricia, Gerald, and Denise took turns explaining my various violations. The van, the lawn furniture they deemed inappropriate, the fact that I'd repainted my front door without approval. Their voices overlapped in a chorus of petty grievances that would have been comical if it weren't so exhausting. Jake listened patiently, then turned to me. Your side. I pulled out my phone and opened a folder I prepared for exactly this scenario. I have documentation from my real estate attorney confirming that my property, purchased in March of this year, is not and has never been part of the Meadowbrook Estates HOA. My house was built in 1987. The HOA was established in 2002. The previous owner maintained the exemption, and it transferred to me with the deed. I handed Jake my phone. He scrolled through the documents, his eyebrows rising slightly. Patricia snatched the phone from his hands, a move that made Jake's jaw tighten. This is fabricated. He's lying to avoid his responsibilities. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to return that phone and step back, Jake said firmly. Reluctantly, Patricia handed it back, and I forwarded the documents to Jake's email on the spot. Officer, surely you can see he's being deliberately difficult, Denise interjected. He's disrupting neighborhood harmony. Jake closed his notepad with a decisive snap. From what I can see, Mr. Harrison has legal documentation supporting his claim that he's not under HOA jurisdiction. This is a civil matter, not a criminal one. There's no harassment, no trespassing, and no disturbance beyond this conversation itself. But, Gerald started. But nothing, Jake said, his tone brooking no argument. If you believe you have legal grounds for your claims, you'll need to pursue it through civil court. I can't enforce HOA rules, especially when there's legitimate dispute about whether those rules apply. Have a good evening. As Jake walked back to his patrol car, Patricia's face had gone from red to an alarming shade of purple. This isn't over, Mr. Harrison. We'll see you in court. Patricia, I said quietly, before you go down that road, there's something you should know. She crossed her arms. What? I didn't just buy one property on this block. I bought 7. The silence was deafening. What? Denise whispered. I gestured down the street. The corner house, the 2 rentals mid-block, the vacant lot, the duplex, and the 2 properties flanking my house. All purchased through an LLC over the past 8 months. All predating your HOA or legally exempted. I'm a real estate investor. It's how I've been building my retirement fund. Gerald's comb-over seemed to deflate. That's nearly a third of the street. Closer to 40% actually. I corrected, and I've been considering purchasing more. But here's the thing. I was planning to be a quiet neighbor, mind my own business, rent to good tenants, and maintain the properties well. But if you want to take me to court, I should mention that I've also been approached by several of your actual HOA members asking about my exemption status.